Have you ever felt a chill run down your spine as the clock strikes midnight on New Year's Eve? While most people are celebrating with champagne and fireworks, some are experiencing a night they'll never forget for all the wrong reasons. Tonight, we're diving into 3 true New Year's Eve horror stories that will make you think twice about being alone when the ball drops. These stories are said to be real, passed down through whispers and late-night confessions. So turn down the lights, get comfortable, and let's begin our countdown to terror. Our first story is called The Midnight Phone Call. It happened to a woman named Clara, who was spending New Year's Eve alone in her new apartment. Her friends were all out of town, and she was content to just watch the celebration on TV with a glass of wine. The city outside was alive with excitement, but inside, her apartment was a quiet sanctuary. As the minutes ticked closer to midnight, Clara felt a strange sense of unease. The building was old, and it often made unsettling noises, but this felt different. It was a heavy silence, the kind that feels like you're being watched. At exactly 11:59 p.m., her phone rang. It was a private number. She almost ignored it, thinking it was a wrong number or a telemarketer, but something compelled her to answer. She said hello, but there was only static on the other end. She said hello again, a little louder this time. Then, a low, raspy voice whispered through the receiver. It said,
"Don't celebrate. This is your last New Year's."
Clara's blood ran cold. She slammed the phone down, her heart pounding in her chest. Was it a prank call? It had to be. She looked at the clock. 10 seconds to midnight. She tried to shake off the creepy feeling, focusing on the televised countdown. 10, 9, 8. She joined in, trying to force a sense of normalcy. 7, 6, 5. The crowd on TV was cheering. 4, 3, 2. Suddenly, at the exact moment the clock struck midnight, her entire apartment plunged into darkness. The power was out. A collective groan could be heard from the apartments around her, but Clara's fear was suffocating. Then, she saw it. Reflected in the dark window pane, illuminated by the distant city lights, was the silhouette of a tall, thin figure standing right behind her. She screamed and spun around, but there was nothing there. The room was empty. She huddled in the corner, terrified, until the sun came up. The next morning, she asked her neighbors about the power outage. They said it only affected her unit. When she told them about the figure, her next-door neighbor, an elderly woman, went pale. She said the apartment had been vacant for years before Clara moved in because the previous tenant had vanished without a trace. On New Year's Eve. Next, we have a story that blurs the line between the living and the dead, called The Party Guest Who Didn't Exist. The Henderson family was famous for their annual New Year's Eve parties. Their house was always filled with friends, family, and co-workers. A loud and joyous celebration to ring in the new year. This particular year was no different. The house was buzzing with laughter and music. Food covered every surface, and drinks were flowing freely. Around 10:30 p.m., the doorbell rang. Mr. Henderson opened it to find a man standing on the porch. He was polite, well-dressed, and had a warm smile, but there was a deep sadness in his eyes. He apologized for intruding and explained that his car had broken down nearby. He said he didn't want to be alone on New Year's Eve and asked if he could possibly join their party for a little while. The Hendersons, being the hospitable people they were, welcomed him in without a second thought. The man was charming. He mingled with the guests, shared stories, and even helped Mrs. Henderson in the kitchen. Everyone just assumed he was a friend of a friend. He fit in so seamlessly that no one questioned his presence. He told a few people he was just passing through town, trying to get home to his family. As midnight approached, the energy in the room grew. The mysterious guest stood quietly in a corner, watching the festivities with that same sad smile. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8. Everyone gathered in the living room, ready to cheer. When the clock struck 12, shouts of Happy New Year filled the house. A few moments later, when the initial excitement died down, Mrs. Henderson looked for their unexpected guest to offer him another drink. but he was gone. He hadn't said goodbye. He had simply vanished. They checked the front and back doors, but they were both closed. No one had seen him leave. The next day, as they were cleaning up, the family talked about the strange man. Mr. Henderson asked his brother who his friend was, and his brother said, "I thought he was your friend from work." They went around asking all their guests, but no one knew him. No one had invited him. It was a complete mystery. A week later, curiosity got the better of them. Mr. Henderson called the local police station, not to file a report, but just to ask if there had been any reports of a man with car trouble on New Year's Eve. The officer on the phone was quiet for a moment before asking for a description. After Mr. Henderson described the man, the officer's voice became grave. He told them that a man matching that exact description had been killed in a car accident on that very same road 5 years ago. On New Year's Eve, he had been on his way home to see his family. Our final story for tonight, the countdown intruder, will make you terrified of what lurks in the woods. A group of 4 teenagers, Liam, Maya, Chloe, and Ben, decided to do something different for New Year's. They rented a secluded cabin deep in the mountains, surrounded by a dense, snow-covered forest. They wanted to escape the city and have their own private celebration. They spent the day hiking and the evening playing games by the fireplace, feeling completely isolated from the rest of the world. As the night grew darker, the woods around them seemed to come alive with strange sounds, the creaking of branches, the howl of the wind, but they dismissed it as part of the rustic experience. Around 11:50 p.m., they went outside to set up some small fireworks. The air was crisp and cold, and the snow muffled every sound. As they started the countdown for the new year, a strange noise cut through the silence. It sounded like something heavy being dragged through the snow, getting closer and closer to the cabin. They froze, listening. It stopped. Feeling a bit spooked, they decided to head back inside. As Ben closed the door, he glanced out the window. His heart jumped into his throat. In the fresh snow, there was a single set of large, deep footprints. They didn't look human, and they led directly to the front door of their cabin, but there were no tracks leading away. Whatever it was still out there. They locked the doors and windows, their party mood completely shattered. They huddled together in the living room, trying to convince themselves it was just an animal. The final countdown began on the small TV they had. 10, 9, 8. They could hear scratching sounds now, first at the front door, then at the windows, moving around the cabin. 4, 3, 2. They held their breath. At the exact moment, the clock struck midnight. Every single door in the cabin, the front door, the back door, the bedroom doors, even the closet doors slammed shut at once with a deafening bang. The force of it shook the entire cabin. A cold gust of wind swept through the room, and for a split second, they all saw a tall, dark shadow flicker across the far wall before vanishing. They were paralyzed with fear, too scared to move or even speak. They spent the entire night huddled together on the couch, listening to the scratching and a low growl that seemed to come from all around them. The sounds finally stopped when the first light of dawn broke through the trees. Trembling, they cautiously opened the front door. The strange footprints were gone, as if they'd never been there. But carved into the wood of the doors and the window frames were deep, vicious claw marks. They packed their bags in a panic and fled the cabin, never looking back. They later learned that local legend spoke of a creature that awakens in those woods only one night a year, New Year's Eve. 3 stories, 3 celebrations turned into nightmares. It just goes to show that the turn of the new year can bring more than just hope and new beginnings. Sometimes it brings visitors from the other side. So the next time you're counting down the seconds to midnight, you might want to check who or what is celebrating with you. Thanks for watching. If you have your own scary New Year's story, share it in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more terrifying tales. Stay safe and have a happy and hopefully horror-free New Year.